Thanks everyone for joining. My name's Priya Patel. I am VP of Brand and Product Marketing at Okendo, and really excited to speak with everyone today about some customer marketing tips and tactics that apparel brands can use in order to elevate your brand and market. So I am being joined by, oh wait, actually, couple of housekeeping items before we get started. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please enter all of them in the chat, and throughout the presentation, we will try to answer them. And if there's some time at the end, we'll do a live Q&A. You're also going to receive a recording after the webinar and a copy of the presentation within 24 hours of us ending, so keep an eye out for that. All right, now on to the fun stuff. So I am being joined today by four amazing panelists. We have Joe Fazzolari, the Tech Partner Manager at Gorgeous. We have John Knott, Director of Ecosystem Partnerships at Tapcart. We have SJ Carcamo, Senior Partner Marketing Manager at Justuno, and Alexa Kilroy, Director of Marketing at Vermont. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. So just a little overview of Okendo for those who aren't as familiar with us. We are a customer marketing platform that helps brands maximize the value of their customers. And we do that through a connected suite of 5 products, as you can see here: quizzes, reviews, loyalty, referrals, and surveys. And our app is built specifically for Shopify, exclusively for Shopify. And we're also trusted by over 15,000 Shopify brands now. So as you can see, a lot of different apparel brands on this slide here: Skims, Sabo, Cat the Label, Aberjay. So it gives us a really great opportunity to work super closely with these apparel brands and get some direct feedback on what they're looking for, what they need in order to create deeper connections with their shoppers. So zooming out a little bit, when thinking about, what the market wants, what shoppers want, 64% of consumers say that they want a brand to really connect with them. So when they land on site, they want to feel like the brand is showing up as themselves, they connect with their values, and they want to make sure that the brands are also personalizing their shopping experiences. So if an apparel brand does that, 80% of those shoppers are more likely to purchase from you. And then lastly, 43% of customers are more likely to spend more money with brands that they're loyal to. So if you're creating that connection, if you're personalizing the experiences, making them more meaningful, these shoppers are more likely to commit to your brand and come back for additional purchases in the long run. So how can you make all that stuff happen? How can you connect and personalize and really generate some of that long-term loyalty? Well, we have a few best practices here. And the first one is to implement high-quality customer reviews to build trust and drive conversions. So we have a couple of examples here. The first one being Skims. Skims, as you guys probably know, is Kim Kardashian's brand, and they use Okendo reviews on site. As you can see, a really sleek and easy to navigate user experience here. So really minimalist, which is very similar to the Skims brand. They also have the star ratings, they have UGC here. And I think what's really important too, I know for myself, are the attributes. So if you're an apparel brand, I know for myself, if I'm coming to your brand to buy a new pair of pants or maybe some pajamas, I want to look at your reviews and find the people who have my body type. And then I'm more likely to feel like, okay, this is the right product for me. And then I'm less likely to actually return that product because I've done that due diligence. We also have Kai here, so another Kardashian sister, Kylie Jenner. Very similar look and feel, very minimalist, vibe here. We have the UGC, we have the star ratings, and again, those attributes, which can really help a shopper understand how that product fits and if it's right for them. And then lastly here is Swim Outlet. So Swim Outlet is a swimwear brand, and I wanted to mention them because they just started using our reviews AI summaries. So, if you're Skims, if you're Swim Outlet or Kai, you have thousands of customer reviews, which is great because there's a treasure trove of information there. But as a shopper, when you're, choosing an apparel brand, you want to be able to get those quick insights and the overarching sentiment without spending hours kind of parsing through all those reviews. And so AI summaries is a really great way to offer those quick insights and drive conversions a lot faster than if they might have to do all that research. You might lose them in the process. All right, so moving on to our second best practice, it's implementing a product recommendation quiz. So in combination with reviews, product recommendation quizzes are huge. I know for myself, I imagine for some of you guys as well as shoppers that you work with. Just asking a simple 4 or 5 question quiz and giving a personalized recommendation to your shopper is such a great way to, again, reduce those return rates and also accelerate sales. So if you have a huge product catalog, as a shopper, again, going through all of those pages, trying to find the product that fits your needs. Just by asking a few questions like Polly here, you're able to give that very specific personalized recommendation that is, again, much more likely to please the shopper and reduce return rates. And then another quiz example here is Nayway, again, a very different look and feel. And you can see that they actually offered 3 recommendations as opposed to one that Opoly had. And we make it really easy to accelerate sales and increase those conversions by having the add to cart button directly on the product recommendation page. So it makes it a really great user experience for your shoppers and makes them feel like you want them to actually connect with your brand and you get them and you're giving them the products that are going to be best for them. And our last best practice here is to implement a really customized loyalty program to maximize lifetime value for your shoppers. So our first example here is Sabo. So Sabo is an Australian brand, as you can see, sort of this like beachy, kind of like airy vibe. And they have customized VIP tiers here. So they have 4 different levels. And this is a really great way to motivate and encourage ongoing engagement from your shoppers because people, of course, want to know what do we get when we get to that 4th tier, right? So it's this incremental reward system that keeps your members engaged and coming back to spend more so they can unlock that additional tier. And then the second example I have here is Cat the Label. So another Australian brand, but what they do really well is they connect with their customer community in a really authentic way. So very different look and feel than Sabo. And this is more of like a flirty, I'm at home kind of lounging vibe. And they've done a really nice job of creating that experience that connects again with their shoppers by showing up as themselves instead of, offering this loyalty program that looks like, some other brand and is inconsistent. And then lastly here is Noble. So Noble, again, a very different look and feel with their loyalty program. They only have 2 tiers. And what they've done is made it really simple. So you spend $250 with their brand. They sell sneakers. And so, maybe you buy a pair of sneakers or 2 pairs, you unlock that 2nd tier. And that's when you get double the points, you get expedited shipping at a discounted rate, you get free standard shipping. So Noble, again, does a really great job of knowing their customers and as an apparel brand saying, we're going to create this experience that's very specific to you and keeps you coming back and drives repeat purchases. So in closing here, we really believe that apparel brands can create that connection and personalization through this end-to-end customer marketing strategy. I mentioned 3 of Okendo's products, and we also have surveys and referrals. I think personally, surveys are a really great way to continue, especially as an apparel brand, getting that ongoing feedback from your customers. You're consistently dropping new products. You're dealing with returns. How was the customer support and experience there? Surveys is a great way to really get that ongoing feedback and implement changes super quickly. So that is all for me. I'm going to pass it over to Joe so that he can talk about some retention strategies. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Joe, and you can hop on there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Priya. That was very helpful. Just want to make sure Everyone can hear and see me okay as I grab the reins over here. Good stuff. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar today. I'm Joe, also known as Joey or Joseph. I have three names. I'm a technology partnership manager here at Gorgeous. And if you're not familiar with us, we're known as the conversational AI platform built specifically for ecom brands. So we can help you guys deliver instant, personalized support that actually drives revenue. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to take a look at how we can turn your shoppers into lifelong customers, helping you boost that average order value, lifetime value of the customer, and keep them coming back. So um, that's really because, as you've heard already today, customization is the name of the game. Acquiring those customers through customization is getting expensive though, and so it's no longer enough to just get people through that door. The brands that win are the ones that keep them coming back, and support is a huge part of that. So let's dive right in. Quick reintroduction here. So Gorgeous, why are we here and why are we even talking about this? Gorgeous is that powerful customer support tool for over 15,000 ecom brands, much like yourselves, including some of the biggest names in DTC fashion. Princess Polly, Steve Madden, Shynasty. And why that matters is because customer support is no longer just a cost center. It's not just about answering emails and dealing with returns. Like I said, those smartest brands are using AI to turn support into that revenue driving tool. And when you do support right, you don't just solve problems, you increase retention, you drive those repeat purchases, and you boost the customer lifetime value. So let's break it down and see why retention is so critical for the fashion e-commerce world. Like I said, customer acquisition costs are at an all-time high, really. Ads are more expensive, competition is getting fierce, and trends change really, really fast. So this slide shows some quick stats that back up why retention is the theme to focus on. Loyal customers spend 67% more than first-time buyers is what we're seeing. So obviously, you got to treat them like gold. On the other hand, 72% of shoppers expect instant, personalized, there's that word again, support. But really, like, how do you scale that? So to make things even more pressurized, if a customer has one bad experience, whether that's slow support, a missing package, a frustrating return experience, they hit the road. And if they don't come back, that's money you spent to acquire them that's now wasted. And that's where we come in. Again, with our AI, we can provide that fast, helpful support, building trust, and make them more likely to shop again. The AI powered customer support becomes a game changer because, like, let's be honest, scaling personalized support manually is not really realistic. But with AI, it's not a future dream anymore. It's totally possible with Gorgeous. And so let's dive into a little bit of, the three proven strategies that leading brands are using to drive that retention and revenue. A lot of the brands that we work with still think, or that we've brought into our organization have previously thought that support was a necessary evil, just something that they have to deal with. But like I said, and I will say over and over again, the brands that are winning, are the ones that see support as that growth engine, and they're willing to use technology to make it happen. As an example, Princess Polly. They're one of the brands that we work with, and this is what they've experienced. Before AI, they had slow response times, leading to frustrated customers and lost sales. With AI, 60% of those inquiries are now resolved instantly, boosting their CSAT scores and their conversion rates as a result. They used Gorgeous AI to automate 50% of customer inquiries, and they cut the response times to under 30 seconds. And as a result, they boosted their repeat purchases by 20%. So they took advantage of Gorgeous's integration with some of our partners here that we have on today's call, like Tapcart, to make mobile shopping or mobile support that much easier. And when support is instant, accurate, and helpful, customers don't just get their problem solved, they feel satisfied and they feel confident buying again. And here's why, and here's where it gets even better. AI doesn't just speed up support, it actually makes it smarter. And you guys can actually personalize the AI itself, which we're really excited about here at Gorgeous. One of the best ways to increase at that average order value and that lifetime value is making customers feel like the VIPs that they feel like they should be treated as without hiring a massive team. So think about it. If a shopper is treated like a one-time transaction, they'll probably act like one. But if they feel like your brand knows them, understands their needs, and actually cares, that's when they keep coming back. So AI makes that happen with the instantly resolving shipping and order inquiries, the where is my order tickets that happen time and time again, recommending upsells and cross sells of your products based on that customer's previous behavior, and automating loyalty and the VIP interactions that we've highlighted already. So, of course, in this case, Olipop isn't a fashion brand, but I wanted to just take a look at how it helps them out and how they applied it. So the AI powered follow-ups that they implemented with Gorgeous offered exchanges instead of refunds, ultimately preventing 30% of those return requests. So instead of just saying, here's your refund, you can actually tailor the AI to offer an exchange, suggest a different product, or even apply a loyalty reward, turning that potentially lost sale into a saved one. And that's something that is definitely worth writing home about. So you got the first sale, awesome. What's next? Too many brands focus on all their energy on just the conversion and totally neglect that post-purchase engagement. And so that's a huge mistake because that's where really loyalty is truly built. AI-powered engagement can reduce those Wismo tickets with proactive shipping updates and send post-purchase offers to encourage those customers to come back and repeat buy. So Steve Madden, everyone knows them. Let's take a look at them as an example. They used AI to send proactive order updates, reducing those where is my order tickets by 35%. And this freed up the agents that they already had to focus on the VIP customers, which meant higher retention and happier customers all around. When customers are kept in the loop, whether it's about their order or an upcoming sale or even a special loyalty perk, they feel taken care of. It's that personalization. And that makes them way more likely to buy again, as we've heard. So AI powered support isn't just about answering the questions up front, it's about creating experiences that keep the customers coming back. So let's wrap up. In summary, AI powered support isn't just cost saving, it's revenue generating. Instant personalized interactions that we've talked about increase that average order value and the lifetime value of the customer. And post-purchase engagement drives loyalty and repeat sales. And the best part is, you don't have to be a massive enterprise brand to make this happen. AI-powered support is accessible to brands of all sizes, and the sooner you start, the more you gain. So we're happy to facilitate adding additional context. If you wish, feel free to reach out to learn a little bit more about pricing and what we have in store here at Gorgeous. And I want to really thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen to this expert panel that we have here. And so in saying that, I'll pass that on to one of my friends, John Knott with Tapcard.
Hi, actually, John, we're gonna, sorry about that. We're gonna pass it over to SJ from Just Uno, and then we're gonna pass it to you next. Apologies for that.
Oh, okay. So,
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Let me get mine pulled up here. Okay. Share. Sorry, the clicks are taking a little bit of time here. Okay. We should be able to see that A-okay. Yes. All right, thank you everyone for hopping in here. SJ here from Just Uno, and my perspective really follows Okendo and then Joe here perfectly because we are all about the on-site experience and really getting into those niche experiences that end up making up that conversion that you really need to drive your conversion rate. So the Just You Know perspective, it's all the way from the lead capture, aka that welcome experience, to post-purchase and what you're doing to really strengthen that. And I love Okendo's term, turning people into super fans. So what I'm going to share today is really what you can automate as a fashion brand to convert everyone that's coming to site. And that's a really big ask, right? But I feel like if we approach this with the goal of being to convert every session, you get a lot more value out of the session. Even if it's not the conversion, you can get a lot of good data out there that supports all of the other channels. So we'll look at what conversion automation looks like from the Just You Know perspective, what it means to create that better first impression, and it's more than just the welcome offer. And then what we would suggest to test and really begin with getting out of this webinar. So I hope to give you some really actionable strategies that you can implement today. Feel free to reach out to our team. With Just You Know, we get a lot of, I would say we get a lot of insight into what is really driving friction on the website, right? People are trying to incorporate pop-ups to get someone to the next step. So what we hear about a lot is just the lack of the ability to tailor content, or maybe not just the ability, but just putting it out there, like having a lot of personas, or maybe not knowing enough about it, enough people and visitors to really even tailor that content. So intro quizzes, which Okendo covered beautifully, that gets you a lot of good information. The next point of friction is just keeping up with the trends. Like that totally makes sense when there are so many types of creators, micro influencers, even just places to shop in general. Like that can influence what these trends are. So that's really tough to keep up with. And then of course, just presenting something really like a high quality brand. Okendo had some really great examples there of kind of what that elevated approach can look like, which can be a tricky balance, right? When you're trying to present a lot of information, like UGC, the review, the attributes, and just getting something to relate to that visitor. It can feel very clunky, but I think when you're approaching it with trying to present the most relatable information and using cool tools like Just You Know and Okendo together, you're able to present that whole experience that gets through this friction and creates an actual experience that is meant to convert. And convert can mean a lot of things to people, right? Sometimes that means actually getting money in the bank, or maybe it's just converting someone into a subscriber for your newsletter or your owned channels. So here's a really great visualization of what I mean by automation and what that can do for you. So the idea with a fashion brand is we might have a lot of SKUs, we might have a lot of different variants, and to Okendo's point, there's probably tons of attributes that you can pull out of all of the content, reviews, and UGC that you're getting. So how do you take action on that? It's a lot just to set up like these one-off campaigns of pop-ups and website experience. So what we've done is given you the ability to work within a workflow, and we've made it easy. What you do is you target a segment. Maybe you consider that a persona for you, and you serve up different experiences starting with the lead capture and then going all the way to cart abandonment touch points. So what I love about this approach that a brand does right now is using the workflow to present different lead captures that have different, you can see their buttons, and each of those buttons is different related to that traffic source. And then they also incorporate gamification for certain traffic sources as well. So with a one-off workflow, they're able to target, what do we have here? 8 different personas in this right at the welcome. So what I would urge for fashion brands is really to approach automation, but still keeping that kind of segmentation alive at the very first level. What we have here are segment options for you, like really the classic ones that I would encourage anyone to consider adding to their website would be new visitor targeting, whether they're on desktop and mobile, like that's going to be different based on searching and where someone is more likely to convert, for example. And then even cart abandonment, right? That has its own branch of types of cart abandoners that we could get into all day. So this is what automation can look like for you. And then of course you get the data on each branch here. And then to bring it down into just a little bit more words for you, and hoping this kind of drives home the automation point. The goal with setting up these branches and targeting more than one visitor in more than one way, right? We don't want to serve up the same lead capture every time, 10 times they visit. I think with fashion brands, we tend to get a lot of page visits. And especially when we consider the incorporation of a pop-up, you get even more page visits out of that. So we want to really create a frictionless lead capture with automation. We want to add really valuable data to all of these workflows. So that means adding things that people can click on, getting questions answered that are really important to you to actually find what those attributes are. The goal with this automation is to keep more visitors on your website. A website I was checking out this morning in the fashion industry, whenever they didn't have someone engage with the pop-up, the visitors averaged about 3 pages on the website. When they did incorporate the pop-up, which is just one touch point, that increased their site visits by 3 pages, so doubled what they were visiting. That is only leading to more product exposure, more ability to relate with your brand in that session. So again, we're coming back to making the most out of that same session. And then with automation, we can win back lost customers. So you saw that we start with that lead capture. You can follow up that branch with a cart abandoner that's either presenting a better offer than what they just saw or something very enticing for that certain segment. And then, of course, we just gather a ton of behavior insights. I mentioned the pages traveled, but also just looking at how your visitors are, where your visitors are abandoning and which sources they're abandoning from. Like that's going to be very telling for how you actually structure your automation. But at the beginning, I would urge you to focus on that lead capture experience, creating something frictionless, and the continuous steps after, which lead to cart abandonment. So it's really the idea of addressing cart abandonment before it's going to happen. And in this case, I have some examples for you. So we have this, our client Highlight here. The segment that we've chosen to target is based off of the traffic source. So very similar to that image I showed you before. And their approach here has really been to lean into product recommendations. There are tons of what should I say? There are tons of algorithms that you can use to really serve up the best product. In the end, you as a marketer, like you know what's going to bundle best because you know how people are shopping. But what I love with what Highlight was able to do is really sync up these product recommendations with this paid traffic that they were seeing. And we also incorporated product recommendations in more than one spot. So let's say you have your product recommendation right in your quiz, like we've seen the examples of. From there, you can have a different algorithm serving up product recommendations on the product page, on the home page. The idea is, I mean, there's a couple ideas, right? People are browsing from page to page, like you're going to know their journey. So that can influence the algorithms that you choose, but also just that landing page experience. Wherever someone is landing on, like don't wait for them to travel 1 or 2 pages before they're seeing something recommended, especially if you already have data on them, which just by telling where they're landing, that can give you a lot of good insight. So naturally, we did see an AOV lift by increasing the amount of product recommendations throughout site. There's been a lot of testing in the algorithms. You can A/B test showing maybe like the best sellers versus your custom bundle that you want to show. And then we have this revenue to associate with each of the carousels. So I like to mention that because we're not just trying to get someone to click, right? We also want to see who is clicking. What did they click on? So you get tons of data based off of what that carousel is doing for you. The second one I wanted to call out for you is this segment of return cart abandonment. And this is really great to just keep that engagement going. This is kind of how we get into that super fan territory. We're not just getting the lead capture and kind of leaving them to fend for themselves on the website. Your website is great. It was made with a purpose, but pop-ups are meant to get people from the next step to the next click in a way that your website can't do alone. So with this example, we're coming from an owned channel, so from an email. This middle example is showing that they have these items left. We have a unique code associated with those products, and we have the urgency and the timer. When all put together, our strategy is really trying to make that easy for them to continue shopping or to check out. And in this case, we're getting to check out. We also have the you may also like options. I would say you can see there's like 3 options in here. Something I would definitely test for you is whether it's more beneficial or yields higher conversions to have 1 recommendation in there versus 3. That's a test I probably see once a month with people implementing. And it's very easy if you have a slide out cart or if you want to try that out just on your cart page, a couple places we can do that. So what I'll highlight here is that our control group are visitors that did not see the cart abandonment, right? They behave the same way, but they just didn't get served that experience. Their conversion rates on mobile, 11%, on desktop, 13%. But when we introduce just this variation of this type of cart abandoner, we're able to see that engaged conversion rate spike 3 times. So this pop-up on desktop and mobile is 5+% of the revenue that we're tracking for influence and that we're attributing. Of course, all of your channels really work together. So I want to preface that you can set any attribution settings that you want in Justuno and probably in other platforms that you're using. It's just kind of being aware of what that platform is really trying to do for you and like what you want to get out of it. In our case, we want to see what that last click was before a visitor actually converted in that session. So I'll kind of get into to wrap us up here, leaving us with this phase 1, as I call it, and what you would really want to start with and then elevate to either advanced or just testing. So first, when we get to foundational, this is what I would say you can take away today. When we have the goal of rescuing an engagement, we want to implement a cart abandoner that's based off of traffic source. And not to give you too much homework, just start with your top 2 to 5 traffic sources that you really want to engage, and just check what that cart abandonment is and who really needs your attention. The second part here is looking at AOV for foundation. When it comes to fashion brands, there's a lot of opportunity to really get the rest of your product lines or categories out there, and even partnering with influencers or creators to create even further custom bundles. So I would really address AOV in this fashion industry when an add to cart happens. So this is where we get into, we don't want to wait for cart abandonment for them to show us they're exiting. When they add the item to cart, show them that free offer that you have, whether it's to get to a certain threshold or if they've already surpassed that threshold, to kind of sort of congratulate them in that way. So that's all, a lot of engagement psychology in there that we're using to increase your baskets and then also just get them to that final step further down the funnel. Now, if we're ready for the advanced, we can get into this part 2 here, but this can be your test after 30 days of setting up this foundation. So we could try cart abandoners for customers that are leaving that specific SKU or amount in cart. This is really great for those brands that maybe you have something that is just being promoted at a wide and just to everybody, and you really want to address like what matches well with that. So that could be an offer, or you addressing like the shipping pain point, a lot of different strategies that could go along with that, but just start with the SKU or amount. And then of course, adding those product recommendations throughout the website. Like I mentioned, if you have maybe a heat map on your mobile device, right, and you're kind of seeing how that traffic is behaving, maybe they're not getting to the very bottom where you're recommending the products or where you have that awesome carousel of value propositions. And so you probably need to use a pop-up to bring that a little higher up in the experience so that you're not losing that. I think Okendo was saying it, like, you don't want to lose that attention while you have it, right? They're right there, like really try to engage them. And that's with clicks and just giving them really relevant information. So questions to ask that I'll leave you with: the cart analysis. So how does each traffic source behave? That gets us into bounce rate, pages traveled, of course, conversion rate and AOV. And then what's your top abandoned item? Let's find that SKU or the top exited page. You can see that in Justuno as well. And then product recommendations. There's tons of algorithms that you can use. Let me grab one here to share the link. Tons of algorithms that you could use per segment or per persona. And the idea is to test that out. And it's like, we don't want to test everything all crazily, right? But find what speaks to you as a marketer, test that with someone else's suggestion that also makes a lot of sense. And in the end, you're going to see the engagement rate, conversion rate, and AOV telling you which one is the winner there. So I'll wrap up and leave you with this QR code if you'd like to redeem this free website conversion audit that we're offering. And we can really dive into those segments that I mentioned today. Or if you have a unique one, we can build that out and see what kind of targeting makes sense for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, SJ. That was so great. I will go ahead and pass it over to John Knott now, Director of Ecosystem Partnerships at Tapcart.
Thanks, Priya. I appreciate it. Emily, the Okendo team, all the partners in the call today, all of you joining. I know it's the end of Q1, so we appreciate your time. My name is John Knott, Director of Ecosystem Partnerships at Tapcart. I am based in Chicago, Illinois. I've been with Tapcart for about 2 years, and I'm incredibly excited to talk to you about all things mobile commerce and how for fashion brands, it's not a matter of when you should be doing it, but a matter of what you should be doing. So if you're unfamiliar with us, we're the only Shopify Plus certified mobile commerce platform. We've actually powered over $8 billion in revenue through our apps that accounted for 3% of total Shopify revenue last year. Went through Tapcart apps. We help brands diversify their owned marketing by launching a dedicated mobile app, but it's essentially a part of their own marketing strategy. Here's a good example over here with Built and how we're able to do so. Ultimately, we impact customer lifetime value across a lot of the key metrics that you'll be looking at, right? Increasing average order value, increasing the revenue per session, increasing the conversion rate versus mobile web. And so you can see kind of a smattering of the brands here that we work with. Polly, as was mentioned in the Okendo webinar earlier, Princess Polly as well. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the specifics here. So I think we can all admit that we're pretty familiar with the fact that most of e-commerce is happening on mobile. We see that around 80% of e-commerce is happening on mobile today. And yet sometimes the mobile experience, the mobile web experience is not very optimized, right? You have endless form fields. It's very easy for you to get distracted when entering your address for the 100th time. It's not made for conversion. And oftentimes it's a clunky experience. And so a lot of leaders in the fashion space, Skims, like was mentioned earlier, Gucci, ASOS, right? These like real enterprise leaders have invested in dedicating time and resources into launching a mobile app, right? But it doesn't have to be for these, enterprise, Fortune 500 fashion brands. If you're a Shopify brand doing anywhere north of like 10 million, you probably have the loyal customer following for it to make sense. And so what we find is that brands like to be able to differentiate the app experience, and they're able to get a lot of value from doing so. So not only are they able to see a differentiated experience for those VIP customers that are inside of the app, but you can also incentivize customers that aren't in the app to download in the first place, right? So Built Basics says 70% of their app revenue comes from exclusive app drops. Princess Polly is seeing that 94% of app revenue is coming from repeat customers, right? So the idea of doing app exclusives is an incredible way to, again, differentiate the app experience from your other channels. And the reason that brands are excited to do so is that they know that the app is the stickiest place for customers to be. It's oftentimes the highest LTV channel that you have. And so by being able to leverage app exclusives, you're able to drive customers, again, to the highest LTV channel. And so when I say app exclusives, that can mean a number of things. It can mean app exclusive promotions, sure, but it can mean app exclusive products, app exclusive collections, certain colorways that are only available inside of the app, certain like in-person brick and mortar experiences that are only available to app customers. A really good example of this is Opoly. They release all new collections in the app first, up to 24 hours early, right? So if you're a brand loyalist of Opoly and you really want to get access to those products before they sell out in your size, you're going to become an app customer, right? And so it's really easy to see how you'll be able to incentivize customers to be able to download the app in the first place and to become that brand loyalist or that super fan, like Okendo mentioned. Feel free to scan this if you want to take a peek at one of our apps with Princess Polly. All right, cool. So diving into personalization a bit. So it's not surprising. This is definitely a foundational element of all e-commerce brands now. It's not a nice to have. It's how personalized can we be as a brand. So if we look at this example with LSKD, they were able to see 20% higher retention rate by leveraging app push notifications that are personalized. So take a peek at what they're doing on the right. They're adding their name, right? That's a pretty basic one in terms of dynamic content that we can add there. They're able to be non-transactional. Let's unpack that for a second. So because push notifications are not a paid per message channel, you can send thousands and tens of thousands of push messages to your customers. Obviously, you wouldn't do so, but you're able to be non-transactional and have a more authentic relationship with your customers. And so brands like LSKD can send a message that says, "You crushed it today, well done," without it needing to have a return, right? It doesn't have to be directly aiming to convert the customer. Obviously, that's a nice to have. But you can really let your brand ethos like come to life with push notifications in a way that you're not able to do with more expensive channels like SMS. And so a lot of brands that are thinking about their own marketing are thinking about how they can diversify with push and in a pretty meaningful way as well. So using all the zero-party data that you've been able to gather from the tools like Okendo and Just Uno have mentioned, you'll be able to personalize pretty successfully, right? Your size is going fast. You're able to really get kind of a one-to-one relationship with customers that lets them know that they're not getting a basic experience, but one that's a bit more tailored to their brand. And so in terms of what we see from fashion brands, ultimately we end up being the second highest revenue channel for most brands. If you look at all of our case studies, we've done a lot of data across many fashion brands, and it says that we're oftentimes increasing their customer lifetime value by at least 2x. We're seeing 30% higher conversion rates versus mobile web as well. And so it's an incredible opportunity for you as a brand, again, to differentiate the experience for your brand versus the other peers in your apparel space, but also being able to see more from your most valuable customers. And again, to be spending less to retarget those customers to bring them back into the fold time and time again. So feel free to go ahead and scan that LSKD QR code if you would like. You can see another one of our apps at play. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much. If you want to chat, I will toss my email in the chat there, and we can go ahead and chat from there.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Love a mobile app experience tailored to a brand. I'm going to pass it over to Alexa, Director of Marketing at Vermont, as our last panelist today.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right. You looking good on full screen? Somebody yell at me.
Yes.
Things look wonky. Okay, amazing. Perfect. Awesome. Super nice to meet you guys virtually. I'm Alexa. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Vermont. And we're gonna tackle some really cool customer acquisition stuff specific for D2C e-commerce based fashion brands. I think you'll find that there is a lot of overlap in how Vermont works with our client brands in the way that Just Uno does too. So it's cool. We have some really great overlap and alignment with SJ's fit. But just to give you some context, I'm Alexa. I go by Alexa because I trigger everybody's Zoom thing in the background, or Amazon Alexa thing on Zoom. But I am super stoked to be here. I actually have a background in e-commerce, working in growth marketing and advertising on the brand side for years before I then ended up going to Triple Whale. Was at Stay AI, if you're familiar, which is subscription tech, and then I've been at Vermont here for about a year now. So I've been in the growth marketing and advertising hustle, been in many of your shoes in performance marketing and media buying as well. And so now I get to work kind of on the SaaS side. But in order to dig into all the cool strategies that I want to talk about with you guys today, I think it's really helpful to start a little bit with strategy and how we at Vermont think about tackling customer acquisition in general. So we describe this as like the single funnel problem versus a hub and spoke model. And I'll kind of break these both down for you here in a second. So typically what we see most brands doing is they're sending their ad traffic through this single funnel. So whether they are selling 15 different types of pairs of shorts, or they're selling one core pair of shorts, a super performance pair of shorts, a bunch of different ways, they end up generally sending their traffic through this kind of single funnel experience. This is particularly common in fashion, where we'll see brands, they might not even have a landing page. They're sending directly to a PDP or a collection page for that type of product, and then going to the cart and going to the checkout. What this means is that your funnel experience, that landing page through to checkout, it has to handle all that traffic. Think about your ad spend, right? If you're spending thousands, $100,000 a day for all your different traffic sources, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you got going on out there. Maybe you're on App11. All these different buyer personas, all these different buyer value props, or even product value props. So, you might have moisture wicking shorts that also happen to be the best performance shorts for runners, that also happen to be swim trunks as well. So you have all these different product value props. People are clicking on an ad because they sell something. Maybe they liked how the shorts looked, or maybe they liked that the shorts were moisture wicking or were really great for runners. But then they're kind of hitting this catch-all experience, this jack of all trades experience that has to account for all of those different things, different product value props, buyer value props, whatever, right? And so what this ends up looking like is kind of what I'm saying, where you've got ads that are specific to whatever it is you're trying to communicate. Maybe you're selling the highest quality athletic socks or the best moisture rich athletic socks, and they're all going through the same buyer journey. And this is how people end up looking and feeling. And I'm sure that you probably had this experience too. You're scrolling on Instagram, you see a shirt that you like, you click on it, then you hit a collection page. It's like 15 different shirts instead of the one in the color and the variant that you liked. And now you have to search for it. And now your kid is crying in the background and you have to pause and go help out in the other room. And suddenly you have totally abandoned your cart, forgotten about that shirt. And you've kind of lost the whole customer journey. You've accidentally introduced a whole lot of friction. And we see this even if brands are using landing pages, they're using multiple custom landing pages where sometimes they will still, I apologize, these are like fake brand examples that we have, but so they're not specific to fashion. Sometimes we'll see brands that are, still using these different landing pages, but even then when they hit a PDP or a cart experience, that's still a catch-all. It's not tailored for that buyer journey. So again, you're kind of running into the same problem, even if you have different initial surface area for landing. So this is what we call the hub and spoke model. And these are really self-contained funnels. They're shopping flows for each shopper journey. And your checkout is still your same central hub. So your checkout is still happening through Shopify or your Salesforce Commerce Cloud, whatever it is that you're running on. But you're able to then provide a unique point of entry, a landing page, a PDP, and a cart experience for that buyer that clicks through from that traffic source, right? So for example, here we actually work with Chubbies right now, and we have like 2 different examples of ads that Chubbies is running for swim trunks. And so they have one about them being like built different and textured and looking one way, and they have another one that about how they're like SPF and quick drying, whatever. And so then using the hub and spoke model, they're able to provide a more detailed and targeted shopping experience from that ad all the way to the checkout. So it's not just their ad creative that they're optimizing to capture people, but it's literally every little piece. That means that their landing page messaging can be aligned with the messaging and the creative from their ad creative. It means their product descriptions and the product imagery, the product photography, even the way that you're merchandising and presenting variants of your different products, color variants, size variants, whatever it is. You can provide, unique offers or bundle opportunities, different in-cart incentives, upsells, cross-sells, all that kind of stuff for those unique buyer journeys. And ultimately what this means, in addition to helping de-risk and kind of de-friction that experiment, is you have broadly the opportunity to then de-risk your experimentation in these self-contained funnels and flows. You have a whole lot more flexibility over time because you're able to adjust your unique funnels rather than having to make changes to your core product detail page or collection pages, stuff on your main site that has to account for newly acquired and first-time shoppers as well as your returning customers. Then of course you have unique sales opportunities. So, I think we think about this a lot in like the supplement space, where you think about how supplements might appeal to different buyers for a bunch of different reasons. A collagen supplement appeals to someone because of like hair, skin, and nails. You know that you can present and advertise and market that product to the hair people, the skin people, and the nails people. But I think we forgot about this in fashion, where you still have product, strong product positioning point, be it how you source your materials, the type of materials that you use, how cool the different, products are, unique and versatile they are, right? You have unique sales opportunities there that can be advertised in such a detailed way, much like anybody would with, digging into different product values and benefits in like a supplement as well. So you have unique sales opportunities there where you might be able to sell your moisture wicking shorts to a completely different demographic than you ever thought before. So now we've kind of talked through the strategy, I want to get tactical with you guys, and I'm going to share with you some actual winning experiments from some leading fashion and accessory kind of space brands that we work with at Vermont. And then after that, we'll talk a little bit about Vermont too as well. But I wanted to lead with the juice. So first I'm going to start with Caddis. They're actually an eyewear brand. So they make like glasses, sunglasses, readers, blue light glasses, all kinds of stuff. And they have like a ton of different SKUs. I think because of the frame, the lens strength, if you want the lens to be blue light or not, if you want it to be like transition lenses, those of you that wear glasses have been to the eye doctor, all the different variants that you can have there when you're getting your glasses made. And so they're doing the whole thing online, right? You can upload your prescription or you can get your different strength readers. And that for the shopper is like a whole lot of decision making. I call it the Cheesecake Factory menu problem for those of you that live in the US, where there are like 32 pages of options and you're just overwhelmed. You don't even remember what you want to eat anymore. And so they realized that there was a lot of friction in the experience where folks were clicking on an ad where they'd see a pair of frames or some messaging about their prescription glasses that they were interested in. And then they were hitting these massive, like Walmart sized feeling glasses collection pages where then they had to choose the frame color, the strength, if they wanted all these other XYZ add-ons. And that friction was just far too much for their customers. They were like, screw it, you know what? I'm just going to go to my eye doctor and get my glasses made there. And so ultimately what their goal was to reduce that purchase friction that they had then sort of attributed to their high SKU and variant volume. And so they used Vermont to create these simplified funnels for their best-selling frames. So they would have an ad with the Miklos frame that went to a Miklos specific page, and there someone could choose, do I want prescription readers, sunnies, whatever, how do I want to use these frames? And then they even whittled down their color variants to their like most popular best-selling color variants to help reduce some friction there, as well as putting their most common lens magnification, I apologize, option that they were seeing, their most purchased strengths on there as well. And there was like a button and that was like, I need a different size, and they could go out to the main site. But ultimately that helped reduce a lot of their friction in that variant selection process. And they saw a really significant CVR lift from being able to do this and kind of whittle it down. Now, if they were sending to a page that they built in like a traditional landing page builder, or maybe they were building a custom landing page, even typically that product information, the way that that product is merchandised and the variants of merchandise are pulling from your core Shopify instance, your core e-commerce instance, where you're going to have all of those different variants that you need, right? You can't hide them there. So by using Vermont, they were able to expose just the stuff that they wanted to expose, the most populars, the most frequently purchased, and then they were able to then reduce the friction in the shopping experience and get rid of some of that decision fatigue. You'll see also here they have in the cart where then they used their past purchase data to see which products were most likely purchased together. So if somebody bought this pair of reading glasses, they're more likely to buy that frame of reading glasses because they have roughly similar shapes and colors, things like that. And so they're able to add those upsells there, cross-sells there in the cart as well. The next one comes from True Classic. True Classic, I feel like we all know True Classic if we're in the D2C fashion space. True Classic's best known for their men's t-shirts, which they do sell in like bundle packs. And so they've created bundle specific funnels. So historically, they've been running a lot of ads about their bundle packs, and they had a collection page about just kind of a broad collection page about all the different bundles that they offered. They had like a ton of different bundle options from 3 to 6 to whatever, 9. And so with Vermont, they were able to create like an end-to-end bundle-heavy, bundle-focused shopping experience where the actual 3-pack bundle that they were advertising at first touch, that whole bundle messaging was carried through a targeted landing and shopping experience. That was the product that was like the embedded and featured PDP in that shopping experience. And then they were able to show complementary cross-sells, upsells in the cart as well. So if they got the crew neck 3-pack, they could then also add on the polo 3-pack, that sort of thing. So they were able to then kind of give like a 3-pack specific shopping experience rather than someone clicking on a 3-pack ad and kind of landing in like a big collection or category page that's full of a ton of different shirts. So then they could really create this kind of like, both discounted multi-pack offer focused journey. Southern Scholar is another really cool one. If you're unfamiliar, they're like men's dress socks. Apparently they're wonderful. And so they wanted to increase their average order value. They had some really cool bundles that they were running that were like color-based, so like blue, purple, green, etc. They actually started building Vermont funnels with us for those bundles. So similar to how True Classic was doing, they had an ad for a particular bundle, sent the traffic to a Vermont funnel that was like specific to that blue bundle, whatever. And they were seeing great performance for it. They actually started selling out of their bundles from those specific funnels. On their core website, they used to have like an old school bundle collection page that had like, 12 pages of all their different bundles that you could flip through. And they realized that their Vermont funnels that were built for these bundles were actually converting much better because they were able to kind of create optimized run different offers and promotions much faster than having to kind of hard code things. And so what they ended up doing is when you go to their website, I think it's just southernscholar.com. Yeah, it's here. You'll see on their, they briefly had it on the homepage. I think they're running a different sale right now, but you'll see when you go into their menu, they have a bundle and save that actually links out to a Vermont funnel, which they've created a like super highly optimized bundle collection page, essentially. These are all, they're all embedded PDPs. When you click on each bundle, there's like a ton of awesome information about that bundle and lots of cross-sell and upsell opportunities. They also see, you know, shoppers can see the breakdown of exactly what's in every bundle, other kinds of stuff. But because these were performing so well on their on the ad side, on the acquisition side, they actually ended up embedding it into their core website as well because they were seeing that the performance difference. So that one's a cool one. This one's one of my favorite. Jack Archer, they make some men's apparel. They started with a really cool pair of like men's pants that look like dress pants, but they feel really comfy. I think they're called the Jet Setter pants. One of their goals was that they wanted to continue acquiring new customers with like a really cool and juicy welcome offer, but they also wanted to expose them to some of their like non-hero, non-core SKUs, so that they would come back and purchase again. And so what they ended up doing is building with us a choose your own gift with purchase offer, which I love. I'm such a big fan of this. You know, it's really easy to do like a free gift with purchase, and it's a water bottle or a pair of socks or something that's pretty like nondescript, doesn't require a lot of personalization or variant selection. But with Jack Archer, they were able to use our funnel builder and our offer builder that's built within so that they could actually offer people a free gift with purchase that was a t-shirt. And so there you can see here in this like second to last iPhone screenshot, once people added the pair of pants to their cart or completed whatever buy 2 pairs of pants, get a free shirt. So once people added 2 pairs of pants to their cart, they would get this little swipe up kind of pop up thing from the bottom. It's like you earned your free gift. And they could actually, those shoppers could then actually choose the color and the size of their shirt. So they're likely to get like an item that they pretty much would have purchased for themselves, and kind of personalize it to exactly what they would want and expose them to that new SKU. And then customers come back, they love the pants and they love the shirt, they come back and keep buying more. Because we all know when we find like our favorite comfy pants, favorite comfy shirt, we go back and buy it in every color. And so that was exactly the effect that they ended up creating with their choose their own purchase funnel. And then last one, this seems like such an easy grab, but it's amazing to me how many brands aren't doing it. We work with this really cool jewelry brand called Talks and Colors. They make some like cool stainless steel, kind of like hardcore metal-y jewelry, metal like in the rock and roll sense. And they their goal was to actually improve their conversion rate and just kind of more effectively market their jewelry collabs. And so they actually collaborate with different cool like rock bands to make unique collections. And so what they did with Vermont is they created these really focused funnels for each collaboration that tells like the story behind the collaboration. It tells more about the band, talks about how the band helped design the rings and the jewelry and all the necklaces, all that kinds of stuff. So they were to create these really narrative rich collab collection funnels that they were then able to send their ads from. So you'll see here, they're actually running the ads through the brand's account. They're like white labeling them through the brand's account, or I'm sorry, the band's account. And so then they were able to send to these collection focused landing pages, have the embedded product detail pages that have information about the collab. And then the cart has those upsell cross-sells that are other items in the collection as well. And so that's just a very easy like CBR lift and you know, a high purchase intent traffic experience. Okay, so now we're going through those examples. I just want to share with you guys a little bit about Vermont. So at Vermont, we are an AI-powered commerce platform. So we help brands to instantly generate, experiment upon, and refine these shopping experiences. So from that first touch to checkout, and then your actual first touch to the cart experience, all happens here in Vermont. And then your checkout will happen on your core Shopify checkout, Commerce Cloud checkout, whatever it is. But what we like to say at Vermont is that you can quickly and easily tailor every touch point. So that landing page, the product detail page, and the cart experience, you can all build, manipulate, and edit in Vermont super quickly and easily. Drag and drop, like no code, very, very doable, very easy, so that you can go ahead and start launching and experimenting on these really detailed and targeted shopping experiences very quickly and easily. And that helps you enables you to experiment across all these key variables of your funnel, not just, at the ad creative level, not just at the landing page level, but like we said, kind of going all the way down into your creative, into the fine lines of the messaging on your product detail pages, into your image carousels, and segmenting the reviews that you want to show. Like, really just gives you a lot of flexibility all the way through the entire buyer journey to target, tailor, and personalize. And in the world of AI, I had to bring up our magical AI. So our company, Fermat, is actually named after Pierre de Fermat, who is a French mathematician. And we named our AI agent Pierre because, of course, we did. And Pierre, right now, he gets stronger and stronger every day, but Pierre already has a ton of capability that he can do. Pierre right now can actually generate funnels for you end to end. So he can write copy for you to help you write advertorials. He can help you select your top performing creative that it's seeing in your existing funnels and recommend that it, based on a product that you choose that you want to build your funnel around, it can recommend which creative you use, how you write your copy, all kinds of stuff like that. We also have AI-powered CRO optimizations and analysis. You can ask Pierre, like, basically roast my funnel. Give me insights on my funnel. Tell me what looks strong, what has areas where I can improve. And Pierre will give you optimization recommendations that are not only used by your own historical data in the platform, but also millions of data points across all the different brands and funnels that we're working with as well. So you can get that instant data-driven analysis of your funnel so you can optimize towards whatever performance goal you're looking for. And we also have what we call magic modules, which are essentially like auto-adapting modules that will do things like float the right products to the right customers, help you show the right copy to the right people, help you select the right videos for the right products so that you have a very data-driven, highly optimized funnel with way less number crunching than you had to do in the old days. This is like my little brag slide, of course, but you can check this out. But essentially, our philosophy is that experimentation at scale, especially when it's quick and easy for you to do throughout that buyer journey, throughout the funnel, it leads to stellar performance. And so these are those brands, some of those brands that I was talking about earlier, added a couple of extra ones here, but these are those brag metrics, right? So like Caddis, we talked about with the eyewear, they were able to see a 16% lift in conversion rate and a 20% lift in their ROAS from making those defriction kind of variant and merchandising experiments that they had built. Jack Archer with the pants were able to decrease their CPA by 20%, and also saw a lot of wins across the board from that gift with purchase experimentation. Southern Scholar with the bundles saw 111% lift in AOV. So a lot of good ones. We have some other ones in there. Adorn Mona's jewelry, and As We Move is men's underwear as well. So other ones on there. But if you're interested in learning more about Fermat, you can scan this QR code here and you will get a 15% discount on your platform fees for your first year of funnel building with us. So hopefully you guys come check out Fermat. Feel free to message me. I can also put some info in the chat if you have any questions. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you, Alexa. That was great. We have had so many amazing tips and strategies here, lots of AI, lots of personalization happening. So yeah, we are going to, I know we're a little bit past time here, so we're going to send, as I mentioned, a copy of this presentation so everybody can go through the details again, as well as the recording too. So you'll have that in your inboxes within the next 24 hours. And yes, please feel free to, I guess, reach out with additional questions if you have them. Thanks, everyone.